Say this out loud. Who do you want to invite to the party? It sounds fine. Now try this one. Who do you want to tell Alex the news? It feels wrong, doesn't it? Something in you just flinched. And here's the strange part. Nobody ever taught you that. There's no lesson, no rule in any textbook that says this sentence you can contract and that one you can't. And it goes deeper. Children learning English never even make that mistake, not once. They don't try wanna in the wrong spot and get corrected. They just never do it. So, where did the knowledge come from in the first place? This is one of the quietest, weirdest facts in language learning, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know more about a language than anyone ever showed you. Specifically, and this is the part that breaks people's model of how learning works, you know what's impossible. Think about what that requires for a moment. You can hear a sentence and learn it's possible. You just heard it, right? But impossibility? You can never hear an impossible sentence. By definition, it's the thing that never shows up in what you're exposed to. Nobody walks around producing the bad sentences and labeling them, "Don't say this." Researchers have a name for this gap. They call it the poverty of the stimulus. The stimulus, the language washing over you, simply doesn't contain the information you somehow end up having. And just because you've never heard something doesn't make it impossible. Maybe you just haven't run into it yet. So your mind has to sort the truly impossible from the merely unheard. And the question is, on what evidence? Well, there isn't any. But, now you might think, fine, that's first languages, kids, deep stuff. But adults learning a second language are surely just memorizing what they're taught. And here's where it gets good. VanPatten and Smith ran a study published in 2015. They took English speakers and gave them 100 simple Japanese sentences. Verb phrases, prepositional phrases, basic stuff. Then they tested them, including on things they had never been shown. Yes-no questions, embedded clauses, structures that were nowhere in those 100 sentences. And the learners knew. Some of them had the correct word order across every single domain tested, including the ones they'd never seen. After 100 sentences. Something in them had taken the little they had been given and quietly extended it to cover ground they'd never walked. They did it again with Leighton. Two groups, no prior exposure, learning from scratch. One group heard Leighton in its own word order, subject, object, verb. The other group heard the exact same sentences rearranged into English order, subject, verb, object. Both perfectly coherent, just sentences and pictures, no grammar lessons, nobody explaining anything. They tested sensitivity to a rule nobody had mentioned, case marking, basically the endings telling you who did what to whom. The group that heard Leighton's own order caught the violation 85% of the time. The other group, 55%, basically a coin flip. Same sentences, same pictures, the only difference was the order of the words. And one group's mind, when looking for something it was never told to look for, and found it. So sit with what that means. If you can know what's impossible, and impossibility is never in your input, then some of what you know did not come in. It was already there, waiting, doing the sorting. The learner isn't a bucket you pour language into. The learner is doing something to the language, projecting past it, filling in structure nobody handed them, which flips the usual story on its head. We spend so much energy on what to teach a learner, what to put in. Maybe the more interesting question was always what the learner was going to know anyway.